Leave it to imagination what happened next. How much time passed afterwards was unclear to me. As I woke, my eyelids took their time adjusting to the light. I realized I was still trapped in the haze. As I glanced at the empty spot beside me on the futon, I realized Ryoma was absent and shot up from panic. Did he go off somewhere? I feared that he had left me to find Nakaoka. I began huffing from anxiety and left the room.
Oh? Chizuru. 夜明けまでにはまだ間があるけんど目が覚めてしもうたかい
Oh, there you are. When I awoke, I couldn't find you, so I became worried that you might have left.
ああ、すまん。俺としたことがこんな夜に女を一人にしてしもうたら不安があるがも当たり前や。
Hey, that's not what I said! Even in his groggy state, Ryoma found a chance to sneak a jab in about our previous night together. My cheeks started to flare and I couldn't look at him in the eye. What were you doing in here? Were you thinking about something?
まあ、いろいろ思い出してしもうて。
Do you mean in regards to what Kaoru told us? In all honesty, I had still been reeling from everything he said. My entire life had been called into question, exposing the frail lies that once held all of it together. Ryoma, Kaoru mentioned something about you acting as a spy on behalf of the Tosa domain.
ああ、その通りよ。陽道、土佐の殿様やら上司どもの命令を聞くつもりらってなかったがやけんど。脱藩した後、親類縁者を人質に取られてしもうて逆らえんかった。
Well, shit.
あいつが言いよった通り、おまんに近づいた目的も、もともとは新選組の内情を探るためやったがよ。軽蔑したかい。
I mean, you were doing it to save your family, so I can't really blame you. No. My response was unchanged from what I had told Kaoru. No matter what intentions he may have had, I knew that he would never lie to me maliciously. That, at least, I could count on. So was Nakaoka under the same predicament as you?
ああ、あいつが仲間のゴーシュラーを羅刹へと変えたがも、上司どもに復讐するためやったがやろうにゃ。
It was a tragedy, one that yielded no real winners. In a time when our country had needed its people to unify against mounting external pressures, class exploitations dominated our social hierarchies, and it was impossible to move forward while others choose to focus on conflicts from generations ago. Is your family safe in Tosa?
それに関したら心配はいらんと踏んじゅ。幕府はのうなっちゅうし、陽道や上司連中には薩長とのつながりらでないき。今頃は上を下への大騒ぎになっちゅうやろ。中岡もあの様子やったら土佐の意向は無視して好き勝手に動きゆうがやろ。
I know, but of all the terrible happenings going on, it brought me some sense of relief to hear that Ryoma's family was under no immediate danger.
すまんにゃ。愚痴みたいな話を聞かせてしもうて。まさか10以上も年下の娘にこんな打ち明け話をすることになるなんて思わんかったぜよ。
Oh! say it like that. I always want to be there for you when you need me. I don't want to be the only one who asks for help. Let me be a shoulder for you too, Ryoma. Ryoma stretched his smile almost as wide as the arm he was wrapping around my shoulders. Before I knew it, I was covered by his loving arms.
ありがとう、千鶴。俺は本当に女を捕まえたぜよ。
Ryoma. I sighed. In spite of his corny humor, or his tendency to take things too far, there were genuine expressions of love. Next chapter time! Chapter 4. Oh! July 1868. Shirakawa Castle, located in Aizu, had finally been surrendered over to the Imperial Army. Something peculiar came to my attention, though. There was a hint of discord amongst all of the Imperial soldiers, as if some would boisterously take part in the pillaging and others were silent. On one such occasion, Ryoma and I had been walking on the path leading to Shirakawa.
千鶴、大丈夫かい？そろそろ休憩した方がええろ。
No, I'm fine.
そうか。疲れたらいつでもいいよ。いざやったら貸しちゃるき。
Thank you. All of the strain of walking had clearly been exhausting me, but more than anything, I wished for the pounding headache in my feet to disappear. Oh, pounding ache in my feet to disappear. Mech.
にしても、地図も持っちゃせんのに、よう迷わんと歩けるもんよ。
Ryoma was right. The path to Yukimura village was perilous, a maze of winding roads that branched off in several directions. We somehow avoided becoming lost, however, as a strange intuition guided me through the dense forest. It was as if a voice were summoning me from off in the distance, beckoning me to my place of origin. After stepping through a decade's worth of tall, overgrown grass, we finally arrived. As I laid my eyes on the village's charred ruins, goosebumps emerged along my forearm. Nostalgia began to twist my sentimental heart. There was something to the familiar scent of fresh air, or the crinkle of grass underneath my slipper.
来てくれたんだね、千鶴。待ってたよ。
As I turned around, there stood Kaoru! Father!
お前と再会できたのは喜ばしいことだけど、坂本を連れてきたってことは、俺たちに協力するつもりはないってことでいいのかな。
そう解釈してもろうてもかまんけんど、一応聞いちょくか。中岡は一体どこにおるがぜよ。姿が見当たらんけんど。
あれ、まだ気づいてないのか。新政府軍が落とした白川町の様子がおかしいって噂が流れてるだろう。
Don't tell me Hakuoki and his men are...
そう、俺たちのために白川町で羅刹の実験を続けてくれてるんだ。中岡や土佐の豪士たちのおかげで落ち水の研究はだいぶ進んだよ。 これからは土佐の方角に足を向けて寝られないな。
Well, 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 this is a turn. It was sickening to listen to Kaoru express sadistic joy over his approval of the Tosa's experiments. His lips warped into a cruel smirk, and it was frighteningly clear that he showed no remorse for sacrificing innocent Tosa lives for his own gain.
おまんらの目的は一体何ぞよ。どういてこいつをここへ呼び出した。
Things! Disturbing things! If anything we learned from Cosmos, rude is to say, anyway. Ugh.
人間たちの手によって滅ぼされた雪村一族を再興するのです。
最高やと。
お前はもう知ってるんだろう。俺たちの一族が人間に滅ぼされたことを。
Well, Sen had mentioned the story to me once before. The Yukimura clan were practitioners of pacifism. As such, humans saw an opportunity to ravage and exploit my people, and they took it.
俺は里が火に巻かれる中、お前の手を引いて逃げたことを今でも覚えてる。この里に眠る鬼たちの無念の声がお前には聞こえないのか。自分だけ幸せに生きることができればそれでいいっていうのか、千鶴。
I told him, you don't understand. If Kaoru were delivering his scathing remarks before Ryoma had entered my life, then I would have likely buckled in front of him. However, someone I love dearly once told me that I have no reason to feel guilt over sins I didn't commit. He said that even if my clan had been destroyed, I can't stop myself from moving forward with my life. I deserve happiness too. I think the same could be applied to you and Father as well, right? Just because our village was destroyed, we needed to submit to hatred.
うるさい、黙れよ。好き勝手なことを抜かしやがって。要するにお前はそこにいるゲスな男を選んだってそう言いたいんだろう。まあいいさ。そいつを目の前で殺してやれば愚かな妹もさすがに目を覚ますだろうし。
Just then, Kaoru reached into his pocket. It was... No! Kaoru put a small glass vial to his lips. He hastily downed its contents, then threw the vial, and then... Right as the glass shattered against the ground, his hair began to turn white.
さてと、覚悟はいいか、坂本。可愛い妹をたぶらかしてくれたお礼をさせてもらうよ。
Then Kaoru kicked at the ground, charging towards Ryoma to close distance between them. He swung forward, light emanating from his kodachi. Ryoma had missed the path of the blade by a matter of centimeters, but...
今のは避けやすいようにしてやったんだぞ。分かってるよな。
Kaoru continued inflicting a flurry of slashes as Ryoma defended himself with frantic parries. And then... Ryoma took aim at Kaoru and pulled the trigger.
この間合いで刀と銃のどっちが有利だと思ってるんだ。
Kaoru knocked Ryoma back with his kodachi's hilt, and as Ryoma tried to readjust his footing,
遅いんだよ。
a well-timed slash brought Ryoma to his knees, and Kaoru grabbed a tuft of his hair in glee.
今撃ってれば俺を殺せたのに。一瞬ためらっただろう。どうしてだ。もしかして好きな女と同じ顔してるから殺せなかったってところか。甘いんだなお前は。中岡や他の尊上老師に煙たがられてた理由がよくわかるよ。やっぱりお前はあの時大宮で死んでるのが妥当だったのかもしれないな。
No, at this rate... Kaoru, let go of Ryoma! I instinctively drew out my kodachi and lunged forward.
アホ千鶴来るな
I ignored Ryoma's plea, pointing the tip of my blade at Kaoru as I sprinted forward, but... a pistol rattled off somewhere in the distance. Where did that gunshot come from? And who was its target? As Kaoru clutched his breast, blood began to stain his palm, and he slammed to the ground with a thud.
やれやれ、予想はしてたがとんだ甘ちゃんだな。殺意があるかねえかってのは見るやつが見ればすぐに分かっちまうんだぜ。
知らない。
来てくれたがか。
まがいものになっちまった同族を見過ごすわけにはいかねえんでな。坂本のやつが惚れた女の兄貴を殺せるほど冷徹だとも思えなかったしよ。
Shiranui lowered his gaze at Kaoru, who was lying in a shallow pool of his own blood.
千鶴、そこにいるのか。
Kaoru mustered enough strength to call out to me, though his voice sounded hoarse and feverish.
危ないよ。ここにいると火に巻かれる。
His eyes were glassy, and that he wasn't looking me in the eye gave me the impression that he was gone. From what it looked like, he was floating somewhere between reality and a dream, stuck in the memory of our village being set ablaze, of its last scorching moments on this earth.
言われてるんだ。男鬼なんだから女鬼を守ってやれって。
千鶴手を握っちゃれ。
At Ryoma's behest, I dropped to my knees and took Kaoru's hand into mine. They were small and icy to the touch. His life was leaving him, and I tried to steel myself instead of panicking as I looked into his eyes. Nessa. Our paths may have diverged by no fault of our own at the end of our village's destruction, but Kaoru was only a child too when all of it happened. I couldn't comprehend the strength he had in going to the Nagama clan, all to protect me. To protect me. It was a kindness for which I could never repay him.
千鶴、どうした。
aren't tears of sadness. I wanted to thank you. Thank you for protecting me. And I want to apologize for forgetting you. Kaoru responded with a thin smile, and he clutched my hand with what little strength remained in him. In his final moments, I felt as though the peace he had been so desperately searching for had come.
いいんだよ、そんなこと。兄さんはお前さえ無事なら。少し眠ってもいいかな。今日は何かすごく疲れてるんだ。
Of course. Oyasumi, Nesan. Then his eyelids slammed shut. His clasp around my hand loosened before his hand dropped limp to the ground. When it finally registered to me that he was gone, hot tears started streaming down my cheeks. My twin brother. I wondered if we would have been friends, if things turned out differently for the two of us.